Hey there guys, this is Francesca from Consciousful Tarot. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. Today I'm going to be doing another celebrity love reading. I saw how much you guys liked the first one. I'm going to be doing a part 2 of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. And then if you guys recommend any celebrities that you guys want me to do a love reading on them, go ahead and mention it in the comment below, and I'll definitely see if I'm going to want to do a reading on them, but just leave your suggestions on the bottom. Today I'm going to be doing a reading on Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, and Hailey Bieber. I'm going to get an update on how they all feel about each other, and really just what's going on in the connection, the spiritual lessons, and really the purpose of each of their connections. So let's go ahead and get straight to it. First, I'm going to go ahead and start with Justin and Hailey Bieber. So right off the back, I do see that they are karmic soulmates. They have unfinished business from a past life. They needed to reach a peaceful resolution in this lifetime in order to transcend certain karma that they had repressed. I do see that some of the karmic lessons that Justin needed to learn with Hailey is really to grow up. It does seem as though there's parts of Justin, such as his shadow self, that was really like not fully mastered. He had a lot of undeveloped traits within him that he needed to develop, and then he also needed to release, and kind of like revolving around stability, revolving around partnership. I do see that in their past life they could have ended off, so they came back to kind of like rekindle the connection. But it does seem as though there's a lot of triggers that they needed to endure in order to overcome the karma that they're meant to overcome. I do see that they also needed to both make changes in this lifetime when it comes to their mannerism, their character traits, their personality traits. They needed to overcome lessons that stem from past lives. So for example, Hailey has a lot of people-pleasing tendencies. She needed to overcome that. Justin Bieber has fear of intimacy, but he also has like a Peter Pan syndrome where he hasn't fully grown up. He doesn't take responsibility for his mistakes. So they came together again in this lifetime in order for them to trigger each other to literally overcome those personal issues that they still need to overcome, so they can go into a new beginning in separate ways. So let's go ahead and get started with how Justin feels about Hailey. So right now he's feeling as though there is a dead-end connection. He feels like the solution is to break ties. He is wearing a facade and showing the world as though he's fulfilled. He's showing the world that he's like really emotionally content with Hailey. However, I do see that this is a facade. I do see that he genuinely loves her. However, he also frankly feels as though she brings out the worst in him, but it's not that she brings out the worst in him, it's that her way of being and her soul and her energy is intended to trigger the parts of him that need to be transcended and transmuted in this lifetime. So I do see that I'm not gonna lie, he's very belligerent. He's very hasty with her. He can even be verbally abusive to her, and she's the kind of person that endures it but also like stands up for herself, but at the same time she's very submissive to his verbal abuse. So I do see that in a way she does enable it. What triggers Justin about Hailey is that they don't have a meeting of the minds. So they're constantly bickering because they do disagree a lot about a lot of like world issues. They disagree a lot about certain beliefs. I do even see like when it comes to like religion, like sometimes like they even disagree on like what church they want to go to or how they should handle their religious practices. Overall, it does seem as though they they want to go in two separate directions. They have different ideas of what success looks like. Hailey's a version of success can be more like material wealth, and Justin's version of success is more like changing the world, making sure that he gives an impact when it comes to the message he's trying to display to the world. Like Justin Bieber has an essence of wanting to be like a leader, or wanting to have like the reputation of someone that can make massive changes and can potentially heal the youth. And he has that ideology, and Hailey doesn't really resonate with it because she has more like of a smaller mind. Justin Bieber right now also feels as though he's at a crossroads when it comes to what he should do in this connection, if he should fully like let go of it. He feels like the solution is to let go of it, but there's too many logistics that are in the way of making his decision. I do see that he wants to free himself from this commitment and the responsibility, because it does seem as though he feels like the resolution isn't working it out. He feels like he knows in his heart and in his mind that he's going against what he feels is his wish fulfillment. I do see that he often daydreams to escape a lot from this connection. He can often escape mentally. I do see that he has been consuming either a lot of substances or has been using escape mechanisms in order to escape the frustration that emerges because of the lack of understanding between him and Hailey. I do see that he also feels as though the resolution is to escape from her. The resolution is to let her go. He's also been getting like a lot of signs that he feels as though this connection is more like codependent. He's feeling as though there can be some sort of bondage between them, a codependent connection that's based off sex. And he's realizing that the depth to this connection isn't what he realized, isn't what he thought it was. And what's coming to mind is that he feels as though he wants a clean slate. So I do see that he's planning to work on potentially freeing himself from this connection in the near future. But prior to that happening, there's going to be a lot of changes that will take place. So let's go ahead and get to how Hailey thinks and feels about Justin. Excuse me. Okay, so Hailey is at a point where she's wanting to mediate. She's wanting to find resolutions. They've been very unstable in their household, in their connection. There's been a lot of grief. There's been a lot of arguments, a lot of backlash from Justin Bieber. Like Justin Bieber has been potentially like triggering her, maybe even threatening her with divorce, constantly throwing like scare tactics and threats to divorce her or to leave the connection behind, because that's what he feels is the solution to get rid of his discontentment, because he feels captivated and kind of like imprisoned by this connection. So Hailey feels very emotionally unstable because she feels like there's a lot of possibilities that are in the air between them. She's trying to find a middle ground, but she can't seem to satisfy Justin. She feels very frustrated because she's trying to find resolution, yet there's no emotional comprehension between them. There's no emotional regulation. He can be over drinking, which is leading him to feel more irrational and more emotionally unstable, and that's making her feel as though they're getting into deeper problems, because now there's substance abuse, now there's irrationalities, now there's actual verbal abuse that's happening, which is deepening the problems, which there's already issues to begin with in their foundation. So Hailey is really trying to, I see her potentially communicating with a couples therapist or with someone that professionalizes in like balancing out their relationship. So either like a trusted friend or her therapist. And I do see that she's trying to get advice on this, but she feels very powerless when it comes to what to do, because it seems as though Justin is acting very unstable. He's also fluctuating a lot emotionally, extremely emotionally confused, and she's just incapable of understanding where his heart is at. So I do see that she wants to give it time to see what his decision is going to be or what's going to happen next. But I do see that there's been a lot of threats for divorce, which has her kind of thinking that in the future this may be ending. She feels like in the future it's going to be best to maybe call it to maybe call it truce, to maybe end it, only because she feels as though there will be growth. She feels like there will be some sort of liberation and harmony if they were to break up, because there's so much interference and so much disharmony between them, that she feels as though if they were to both go in a different route, there will be liberation and there will be growth. um I'm also seeing that she feels a lot of turmoil and a lot of resentment for him right now. She's been feeling very overly emotional, because she feels as though the foundation between them is very unstable. And she also feels as though she's living some sort of like delusion, or she's living a lie, because to the world he's portraying that they're happy, but in fact behind doors he's extremely moody, he's extremely potentially even like bipolar and extremely disrespectful. So she's confused, because she's like, why is he trying to show to the world that we are, happy, or that we're stable, when in reality there's a lot of things that are up in the air. There's a lot of things that we're confused about. And I do see her really trying to get into his mind, really asking him questions in order to find practical resolutions, but he always results in potentially dismissing her, or just trying to numb the situation and escape it at all costs. So she's just trying to really focus on her future, focus on her self-healing, because she just feels as though this connection, there's too much instability, and she's gonna lose herself again if she kind of chases him to try to find a resolution or force some sort of mediation. So the decision that I see Justin making between him and Hailey is that he's really just gonna like wait it out. I do see that he's contemplating on a decision. He's gonna try to find clarity about what he needs to do. He's also gonna begin to do research on um, the the litigations and the logistics revolving divorce, because I do see that he doesn't feel as though he can own up to to the decision of wanting to divorce her quite yet. So it does seem as though he's like gonna put it at a pause. He's gonna reevaluate a lot of things before, but he's still gonna be wallowing in the energy of discontentment, of not being emotionally available to her, of being really emotionally dismissive. I do see that he's really just going to be protecting his finances as well. So if they haven't signed a prenup, they will be, or they're already like have done that. But I do see that like he's mainly just going to wait it out. Overall, the connection between them is a legitimate soulmate connection. There is genuine love there, but it's based off superficiality. It's also based off suppressed and past life heartbreak that needed to be mended, that needed to be forgiven, that needed to be learned. They needed to both make adjustments to their own lives and their own character in order to overcome this karma together. Um, Justin was here to teach Hailey how to defend herself and how to set boundaries and not enable disrespect. And Hailey was here to teach Justin how to transform as an individual, overcome fear of intimacy, fear of commitment, overcome his disrespectful traits, his shadow self. She was also here to help him become more emotionally intelligent, and also how to properly communicate, and yeah. But their connection is also, like I said, based off superficiality, and also based off lust. It doesn't go as deep as other connections that Justin could have had in the past. Um, but rest assured, the connection between Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber serves a valuable lesson for both of them. But they're both going to be making adjustments to get out of this connection. And I am seeing potentially him deciding to potentially divorce her in the next eclipse, which is going to be around November, potentially December is when he'll be making his decision. Hey there, guys. So now I'm going to go ahead and go on to Jelena, Justin Bieber's and Selena connection, what it's about, how Justin thinks and feels about her, how Selena thinks and feels about Justin, and what's going to happen between them. So right off the bat, I already kind of know this as well, as I am a fan of Selena Gomez, but they are twin flames. The difference between a twin flame and a soulmate connection is that a twin flame connection has more challenges when it comes to the spiritual bond, and the spiritual connection is actually intended to transcend and elevate the consciousness of humanity. So as the twin flames get together, they actually have a soul mission to ascend and heighten the consciousness of humanity, because both individuals are extremely powerful and intended to cause massive changes in humanity. So Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez both have a mission in kind of like changing humanity on a deep level, and together they're meant to go on this mission. So right off the bat, I am seeing that Justin right now feels as though Selena Gomez is cutting the door 100% to his life. He is actually fearing a lot of abandonment right now, and is really getting the urge to want to express his love to her. He's being very strategic when it comes to showing any sort of signs of love, especially when it comes to the music he's been producing. And it's, as you guys could hear, the music in my background just paused. I'm not even holding the controller, but that's no coincidence. It's just loading, it's buffering. But anyways, Justin Bieber has been having a lot of daydreams and a lot of intuitional memory, like keepsakes and like recalls of the past between him and Selena Gomez. And what's coming up is like a lot of the mistakes that he's made, especially when it comes to cheating, deception. He's really been evaluating the lessons that he's learned in this connection, how he kind of walked away from it, how he kind of regrets, because I do see that he feels as though he's being haunted by a lot of the regrets. A lot of the resentment is coming up. He's feeling very remorseful, especially because Selena Gomez potentially is very cutthroat with him, or is displaying a strong demeanor and character of not wanting to deal with his mind games anymore. I do see that Justin Bieber's at a point where he's at a crossroads in love. He's juggling between what it would be like to go back to her, and I do see that he's contemplating as though this connection is going to be his wish fulfillment. Is if he were to come back, it's like he will be getting his happily ever after. But I do see that he's very triggered by the turmoil and the anxiety that he feels revolving around the regrets, because he feels as though he really deceived her, and he kind of like ruined his reputation, not only to her but to the world, revolving around their relationship. He feels as though he didn't really take responsibility for his malactions and his malice, and he feels as though he needs to redeem himself. He keeps getting haunted, like I said, and he keeps getting a lot of flashbacks and anxiety, like crippling anxiety of um the reminders of his deception towards her. And he feels as though he was very flake, he was very deceptive, he was very two-faced. He really conned her. And I feel as though right now he's going through a lot of emotional karma because he's recognizing what he lost. He's recognizing how he could have done things differently. He realizes as though he made the wrong decision when it comes to his love life. He feels as though he took the wrong route because he wanted to self-loathe himself. He wanted to also, just go with his ego. He was depending on his ego, and that's what really like led for him to deceive Selena Gomez, because Selena Gomez, when she did date Justin Bieber, she was very submissive to him. She was also potentially acted naive, even though she was very intelligent and aware of his tendencies to potentially be uncommittal. Overall, I am seeing that he's going through a lot of emotional triggers that are stemming from the memories of regret. And he's just feeling as though he needs to redeem himself when it comes to her. He wants to take that chance and risk it all, but there's too much, there's too many things in the way that he feels as though he can't show his true intentions. So all he could really do is just kind of like just contemplate, daydream, but he's also being faced with the consequences. It does seem as though he's going through like internal emotional judgment, where he's now self-evaluating and really needing to learn the lesson and take accountability. So he does want to redeem himself to her. So I do see that he's going to be taking action because he feels as though the frustration that he feels when it comes to not being able to redeem himself is really eating up his mind. And it's actually kind of causing some sort of paranoia. It's causing him some sort of like mental distress. And that's why I see him over abusing drugs and being very unstable with Hailey Bieber, because the emotional and mental distress that he's going with when it comes to the lessons that he's learning between him and Selena in their past is causing him a lot of mental stress, to the point where he's not in his A game, or he feels as though he needs to escape from the problems. He needs to numb the problems that are going on within him internally, in order to kind of get through the day, or in order to put up a facade. Excuse me. So the way that Selena Gomez feels about Justin, I do see that she's very fed up with him. So she has a very like guarded attitude when it comes to him. She's tapped out of any sort of mind game, runner chaser dynamic, any sort of game that they once played, a mental game. I do see that she's very defensive. She's also very protective of her energy. Like, she may be feeling as though she's coming off as passive or overly confident when it comes to how Justin sees her, but it's because she's really fed up with the trauma that he caused her. She feels very wounded, and all she wants to do is really heal from this. She feels as though she's gone in circles of healing, and then falling back to feeling unconfident and disempowered, and then healing once again, but not really getting to the point where she reclaims her power 100%. So she's at a point right now where she's actually rising up, coming back into her power, reclaiming her confidence, reclaiming her authenticity and her individuality and her strength. And this is very intimidating for Justin because he kind of wanted her to struggle. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of wanted her to be in a feeling and a low vibration of suffering, for him leaving her. And she's at a point where she's actually changing her perception of Justin. She sees Justin as someone that's very mentally unstable, someone that isn't who he truly is, someone that is also non-committal. So Justin Bieber could have like been contacting Selena Gomez throughout his marriage with Hailey. So Selena contemplates like, oh, if he has contacted me while they're married, imagine if we were married. Like she's really looking at the bigger picture between her and Justin and not allowing her heart to sidetrack her from his true character. She's realizing that there's been so much drama, there's been so much discord, and instability and distress that he has brought to her life, that she's really just wanting to free herself from this manipulation, because she feels as though she's been manipulated somehow by him, not only in the past but even in like the recent past. He could have given her like false promises. He could have like impulsively contacted her multiple times, only for him to go back to Hailey or stay with Hailey, leaving her feeling like disillusioned, making her feel used, or making her feel as though she's enabling cheating, or she's enabling emotional cheating. And she doesn't like that, because Selena Gomez is a very influential person that stands by her words, stands by her ethics and her moral code, and she no longer wants to repeat the cycle. So she's seeing Justin for who he truly is, which is someone that isn't committal and isn't someone that can be trusted. And she's kind of holding on to that mindset of him, because this is actually helping her keep her guard up, and not fall back into any sort of mind games, any sort of like enabling him to come back to her or sneakily contact her. She's really like put up the white flag when it comes to their back and forth connection or secret communication. So I am seeing that the decision that Justin wants to make with Selena Gomez is to redeem himself. So I do see that slowly but surely he's going to want to prove to her that he can be dependable, he can be trusted, and he does want to work on this partnership. His intention is to overcome the issues of the past, because it does seem as though there's been a lot of, like I said, false promises. There's been a lot of like mistakes that he's made where, he made the wrong choice. He was going with what appeared that was going to benefit his social life, his social status. He felt that it was easier to escape from true love and kind of settle for someone that was less powerful than Selena, because Selena could have like the twin flame journey is so powerful to the point where when you're with your twin, it's going to require for you to become the best version of yourself. So because Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber are twin flames, the connection between them was requiring Justin to become the best version of himself. But he wasn't ready to become the best version of himself, because he still had to learn valuable lessons, especially with, other soulmates such as Hailey. So now that Justin, has grown up a little bit, has learned vital lessons, has transformed his character, and now finally tapping into his authenticity and his inner knowing and calling, he's now ready to take this mission. I don't see him being fully prepared quite yet, but he's finally ready to begin to show Selena the signs that he's 100% still in love with her, that he wants to have a heart-to-heart conversation, that he wants to display to her that, she is his true love. She is someone that he frankly never got over, that he is still in love with her, that she is his one and only, and that he wants to apologize. He wants to prove it as well. And he wants to be very diligent in displaying this affection. But I do see that it may take 5 months in order for him to actually fully take that step to, secretly contact her, or take that step to end it off, or take a break from Hailey to then test the waters with Selena. I feel like he's going through a lot of mental pressure when it comes to coming in, because he feels as though Selena is very impatient, or Selena has come to the point where she's fully tapped out, no longer wanting to wait for him, or she's lost all the respect for him to the point where she no longer trusts him, even if he does come around with dozen roses and breaks up with Hailey, so he feels as though he's running out of time. I'm picking up that song by The Weeknd, Out of Time. I love you, girl, but I'm out of time. And it's funny because Selena Gomez and The Weeknd did date, so that's weird. But yeah, I was just channeling that. But overall, the purpose between Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber's to move forward in this twin flame connection, because they have a powerful soul journey and mission. They're actually meant to help in the future. They're meant to help other couples transform their emotional bond. They're meant to help people with family issues, with mental health. They're also meant to help individuals with any sort of dysfunctional families. I do see them being part of institutions, or creating a business together that's going to help families heal, help kids or children that have gone through either their parents going through divorce, separation, people that have gone through verbal abuse, domestic violence, or potentially even just trauma in general when it comes to relationships. So I do see them partnering up in the future. This connection was also meant to help them heal family issues as well. So both of their love life benefits as they forgive their parents, and as they overcome any sort of issues with their family. So it does seem as though their family life is involved here, because I do see that potentially, Justin Bieber lost Selena Gomez's family's respect. So I do see that he may need to redeem that as well. Overall, I do see Justin Bieber asking help from people that he trusts in order to see how he can open his heart to Selena. But the conclusions are not going to be reached until November. So definitely expect changes to be happening between Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber by fall time, and then potentially hearing about him and Selena reconnecting either by next year or by the end of the year this year. But if you are a Jelena fan, this is good news, because there will be changes. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. If you want to know specific details about how your person or how your soulmate thinks and feels about you, you can go to consciousfultarot.com to book your reading. I specialize in love, relationships, career, finances, spiritual, and life path. You can find me on Instagram and partially on Facebook, and I'm also now officially on TikTok. So go ahead, check me out. If you like the video, go ahead and like it, comment. If you guys also have any other suggestions, leave the comment down below. For other celebrity readings, I'm going to be doing Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet soon, because someone recommended that. So yeah, just let me know. I hope you guys enjoy the reading, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.